They can't believe the insanity of, the YouTube commenters and the people calling into shows. And there's a whole army of plants out there. Let's just get that real straight. I mean, I know a lot of you know that, but do you really know it? I mean, they're all over the place trying to. If you really knew this, maybe you'd know how to ignore them. If you really knew a plant's a plant, then why do you respond? Why do you give them the time of day? Let's just move towards the goal. The goal is freedom.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not going to rest until I have. Well, I know I'm free in myself now, but I mean, the whole culture's got to be free.
Yeah. Well, that's what people should be united is in freedom. I mean, I would not have a problem being, working with someone who is an atheist, even though, I mean, I used to be a pretty agnostic atheist also, but one thing I've actually come to notice, this is slightly off topic, but not really, is I have yet, at least in real life, maybe online I have and I forgot, but I have yet to meet a person in real life who is into this information that is an atheist. What about you? I'm sure you have.
Wait, you haven't seen anybody?
I have not. I have not met someone who's into the conspiracy 9/11 inside job who's an atheist, but that might just be me. I don't know. I'm just thinking there might be something to that. Like maybe just like, well, I know for me personally, getting into this information kind of started at a surface level of political, but then I wrote in that article, I eventually went deeper down the rabbit hole and discovered, all this evidence for God and stuff. So my point is, I don't know. I think there's more to the conspiracy movement than just the political, social implications. A lot of times I've noticed people come spiritually enlightened as well as politically, socially, intellectually enlightened. Would you agree?
I was an atheist because, well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that, but I became a non-atheist. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, too, which I'm going to get to. I think Cliff High I don't want to quote him, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I think he's an atheist. So, that's the only example I can think of that is kind of interesting.
Jason Burns.
I mean, let's just be honest, though. Atheism is just false, okay? There's no evidence for it. You got the atheist community of Austin, which is a big YouTube channel on YouTube, and I've made some video responses to them and covered some of their information on my show. If you go to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy and look up atheism, it'll say atheism is a position and a belief about reality, that there is no divinity. That's the most extreme. That's the genuinest form of atheism. Now you go to the Austin Atheist community, huge YouTube channel. That's why I bring them up. And they play games. They say, oh, no, atheism's not a belief. It's just a rejection of a belief. And I'm like, come on. What a game. They're playing word games. They're telling us a position about reality. I don't believe that there's a creator. Okay, you're talking about metaphysics. Okay, you're describing your theory of reality. You want to tell us, no, it's just we're just rejecting another theory. We're not taking on another theory. The point here is that the proper view of atheism is that it is a position of reality. If you ask anybody to prove atheism's true, they can't do it. Okay? And if you ask, unfortunately, on the other end, if you ask somebody to prove that God exists, most people don't know how to do it. I mean, that it doesn't necessarily matter because, your relationship with God and your experience of God through prayer and meditation is personal, of course. Well, and then again, it is interpersonal as well. We've got, we can feel each other's existences in ways, and our consciousness aren't restricted to our minds only. I mean, they spread out. They're very powerful. But most people don't know how to do that. And they get into these debates saying something like, if they, they'll try to prove to an atheist that God is real, and they don't know how to do it. That's simply because the creationists out there don't have the right evidence. And most people don't know the real evidence to look into nature, see all the designs and so forth, all the fractality and the golden ratios everywhere and so forth, that sadly most people just fail at this debate between atheism and theism. But again, if you ask an atheist to prove God doesn't exist, can't do it. And if somebody asks me to prove God exists, I mean, I can do it, and it's the easiest thing in the world. I've done how many shows on it? It was the main focus of my show for like 2 months, February and March. All those shows are free on YouTube, youtube.com/Antimatter Radio. And the basic idea is that nature is structured with a mathematical intelligence streaming through it everywhere. You can find the golden ratio and the quantum patterns of quantum chaos. In sunflowers, it's built into your hands, feet, teeth, face, everywhere, all over your body. Why are these specific? It's a non-random pattern. Okay. Why? Oh man, you still there, Ed?
Yeah. You might have logged out. Did you not move your mouse or? Hello? Okay, well, I think Jeff might be gone, so I will continue talking. I was going to bring up, actually, a lot of times when if I were to meet an atheist in this this truth freedom movement, actually, some people in the chat room are bringing this up. I would point to the fact.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just finish my point. I would point to the fact that Christians, or the New World Order, is constantly attacking Christianity, and some of the like Bill Cooper, for example, and several others of the Christian New World Order researchers were actually either killed or imprisoned. So that just shows that it is a satanic New World Order, which is what I believe.
Oh, that is like the best point of the universe right there. I mean, if the Illuminati is so, I mean, we need to all sit back here and just marvel for a moment at the covert and subtle attacks on Christianity. Now, it exists on the other religions as well. Islam is under attack. Buddhism is under attack. Hinduism is less so. But Christianity, by far the most. And it's not, people will say, oh, I don't see the Christians getting thrown into concentration camps. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, we talked about the other night, the geocentric model of the solar system may be correct. Go watch antimatterradio.com/YouTube, or, sorry, youtube.com/antimatterradio. The last two videos I put up are point. Go ahead. What you said at the very end before I started belching.
Man, I don't even really remember. Was I talking about, I think I was just we're bringing up the fact that the religion that is most commonly attacked is Christianity, and then Christians themselves. How often do you hear about, you can look at things like Waco, obviously, that's one of the most extreme examples, but then, you got Ruby Ridge. It's just Christianity, you can tell, is their mortal enemy, and they're trying to, we think they're trying to move away from Christianity and push the infiltrated Eastern religions on the masses.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we were saying. Yeah. Good work. That's the point. If the Illuminati system is so covertly attacking Christianity, what does that tell you? Okay. I mean, if they want to push materialism and all this stuff that makes us soulless, and then they want to attack, on the other hand, they're attacking all the religions, but mostly Christianity by far. And they don't do it, when I say attacking Christians, I don't mean they're taking them and throwing them in concentration camps. That, to my knowledge, hasn't happened much since Stalin. Maybe I'm wrong about that. There could be some CIA corporate war somewhere that I've forgotten about, 10 years ago or something. But they do it, for example, by attacking the idea, just the promoting of materialism, for example, is a way to, in general, attack religion. Because religions, such as mainly Christianity, talk about there being a non-physical realm. The Creator exists in it. Angels are non-physical beings, and so forth. So then, the academics come along and say, how ridiculous! This pathetic thing called Christianity. And these college students, man, they are really persuaded about this. I mean, they're taken by their so impressive college professors, and they can't believe that Christianity's attacked, the Catholics attacked Galileo and all this kind of stuff. So it's the attacks on Christianity are absolutely everywhere. They're incredibly subtle, and it just tells me that's just one more of the many pieces of evidence that I think they want us to reject Christianity, because there's obviously, that's where the power is,
Yep.
I mean, let me just keep going one more second here, Ed. I was walking to pick up my wife's car from getting fixed yesterday, and I did a little exercise for like 5 minutes. Because we're talking about the geocentric model of the solar system, the Earth at the center, on Antimatter Radio, And that's some work. I've done a lot of work on that. It appears that that's the correct theory, and with the sun at the center was never correct. And I know all of you have been told the sun at the center was correct, and you probably believe it. But yeah, we've been told a lot of things that aren't true. I'm not really sure if the geocentric model, the Earth Center one, is correct, but it sure does seem like it at this point. So I tried a little exercise. I said for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to implant in my mind 3 thoughts. 1, I'm created in God's image. 2, the Earth is at the center of the solar system. And 3, the Earth has some extremely important significance for that very reason. And so I just implanted those thoughts in my mind, and I totally changed me. I mean, I felt so different about it. It was like I was shedding away layers of guilt and condemnation and suppression and all these, everything about me was just that, that's been suppressed was just being unsuppressed. It was just an amazing exercise, and it sort of tells me that just imagine if people were taught the correct ideologies out there in the world, how different, things would be.
Yeah. Well, that taps into kind of like it's like deep down inside. I would say deep down inside, most people know things aren't right. They may not, in their consciously realize that. But yeah, that's just I'm just agreeing with what you said. If we were taught the correct thing and taught, to have self-worth instead of the nihilism they shove down our throats, the world we live in would be completely just changed. If we were brought up to be close with nature and God and everything positive and beautiful, instead of being taught, nihilism and materialism. Just imagine how much the world would improve, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be. I mean, take the American Indians. I mean, they were anti-nihilists. I mean, they were, they took part in the creation process. The people are asking where the geocentric model stuff comes from in the chat room. It's right, boom, there. That's part 1 of the video that I put out. It's based on 7 hours of radio we've done on Antimatter Radio. But yeah, it's the psychological game is almost to such a degree that most people don't suspect it. They don't understand, like something like here's the way I look at it. If the Illuminati system pushes something with ferocity, some ideology or something, that's probably where the trick lies. Okay, so it's probably false, and what is the falsehood doing to our psychology? So if one of their main things is, for example, that the sun is at the center of the solar system. Now, that could be true, but as I've said, if any of you are actually just looking at the issue, it's kind of hard to prove that. In fact, there's evidence that it may not be the case. So we have to wonder if so when they have an ideology that's smashed into our consciousnesses, that is a clue of what we've lost. It's a clue to us of how we're being torn down, and a certain power of the opposite ideology that would give us is being stolen from us. That's pretty much how I take it. It's not just take the idea of the immune system, or the concept of medicine, or the concept of disease. We're told, if you get sick, you go to the doctor. Or if you need to eradicate a disease or avoid one, you go get your vaccine, even though no vaccine has ever worked in history. And nobody stops to say, well, wait a minute. In the Bible, for example, it talks about eating herbs and so forth. And if you go read about alternative medicine, actually every disease there is, do I want to say cured and get the radio station shut down? I don't know. Let me just say there's an answer for every disease in those. In Orthodox medicine, there's not. I mean, why can't anybody put this together? That, if Orthodox medicine is out there saying we've got, we're so impressive, so prestigious, and they can't even get a cure for a single thing, why can't anybody put that together? That, okay, this is a big joke. And then on the other hand, why don't they go look to the other direction? If the Bible is, for example, saying, you do it by the herbs and medicines of the earth, such as honey and echinacea and nettles and so forth, doesn't that mean anything to anybody? I mean, how long are we going to sit around and believe that science is in the place where there's no cures found in Orthodox medicine, or in the big money universities where they're not making any big discoveries? People, when's the last time any kind of big discovery was made? 100 years ago? And everybody's sitting here bowing down and worshiping that. I don't know what it's going to take for us to learn from our experience. You know, if they, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what people should be united is in freedom. I mean, I would not have a problem being, working with someone who is an atheist, even though, I mean, I used to be a pretty agnostic atheist also, but one thing I've actually come to notice, this is slightly off topic, but not really, is I have yet, at least in real life, maybe online I have and I forgot, but I have yet to meet a person in real life who is into this information that is an atheist. What about you? I'm sure you have.
Wait, you haven't seen? Interesting.
Jason Burns.
I mean, let's just be honest, though. Atheism is just false. Okay, there's no evidence for it. You got the atheist community of Austin, which is a big YouTube channel on YouTube, and I've made some video responses to them and covered some of their information on my show. If you go to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy and look up atheism, it'll say atheism is a position and a belief about reality, that there is no divinity. That's the most extreme. That's the genuinest form of atheism. Now you go to this. They can't believe the insanity of the YouTube commenters and the people calling into shows, and there's a whole army of plants out there. Let's just get that real straight. I mean, I know a lot of you know that, but do you really know it? I mean, they're all over the place. Trying to, if you really knew this, maybe you'd know how to ignore them. If you really knew a plant's a plant, then why do you respond? Why do you give them the time of day? Let's just move towards the goal. The goal is freedom.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not going to rest until I have. Well, I know I'm free in myself now, but I mean, the whole culture's got to be free.
I have not met someone who's into the conspiracy 9/11 inside job who's an atheist, but that might just be me. I don't know. I'm just thinking there might be something to that. Like maybe. I know for me personally, getting into this information kind of started at a surface level political, but then I wrote in that article, I eventually went deeper down the rabbit hole and discovered, all this evidence for God and stuff. So my point is, I don't know, I think there's more to the conspiracy movement than just the political, social implications. A lot of times I've noticed people come spiritually enlightened as well as politically, socially, intellectually enlightened. Would you agree?
I was an atheist because, well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that, but I became a non-atheist. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, too, which I'm going to get to. I think Cliff High I don't want to quote him, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I think he's an atheist. So, that's the only example I can think of that is kind